Hello my dear friends, how are you doing today? I am Naveenkumar, welcome you to my channel. As I did promise to you, I am back with my second episode on Screed. And this episode we will discuss about testing on screeds, various inspection on screeds, and what are the aspects to be checked and tested once the screed concrete is done. So let's move to our topic. In last episode we discussed about what are the type of screeds and what are the visual inspections to be done on screed once it is laid and various purposes of screed. Today's screed part 2 we are going to see various type of tests as I mentioned, and for this I will be referring the BSEN code 8204 and a part 1 and part 2 which are reaffirmed in 2003. Plus, in addition to that, I will be referring IS 2571 1970. Right? So, these are the codes I will be referring while explaining you the various tests and the test methods, equipments as well as other inspection criteria. First, let us see the screed evaluation methods. Evaluation method in the sense how to evaluate a screed is fulfilling its purpose and a design parameters. So in this we will be seeing visual inspections and level survey, which is very vital and critical and the very first stage of any kind of evaluation, right? Then cross hatch testing for surface strength, surface wiping tests for dusting, hammer testing for screed soundness and bond to the floor, and tensile strength, which is also called as pull-off strength. When we see a evaluation which is done by these major elements, the adjacent elements are also very important while evaluating a screed. That is adhesion. Adhesion can be examined qualitatively by tapping the surface with a rod or a hammer. This will be carried out as per the code BSEN 13892/8 for determination of bond strength of laboratory specimens is usually adopted. Then next is curling, lipping or cracking. As the name itself says, we have to check this screed for any kind of lifting at the edges which may be visible or measurable, any cracks due to any shrinkage or any kind of overloading or a damage or a sudden impact on the surface, or any kind of lipping. In situ crushing resistance. In situ crushing resistance is carried out to assess compaction using BRE screed testing apparatus. I will explain you this separators with photos separately. I will show you the photos and apparatus and testing process separately in the next few minutes. The test method consists of subjecting the surface of screed to 4 consecutive blows from a particular hammer which will be dropped vertically and check the impact or depth of indentation. Slip resistance. The slip resistance on the floor is measured using the pendulum tester. This apparatus gives slip resistance value by sweeping the test surface with a rubber slider on the end of the pendulum. Last is abrasion resistance. Abrasion resistance can be measured in situ using a machine with 3 hardened steel wheels rotating over the ring-shaped area. This will be tested as per 13892/4 BSEN. So let us go in depth of each and every test, how it will be done and what are the apparatus to be tested for which one. On surface we have to test for moisture content as well, because any kind of membrane, damp proof membrane or vinyl flooring, this kind of overlays needs a very dry surface, so we need to go for moisture content test on the surface, which will be using moisture meter. You can see a photo here for your reference. You can see this photo where the pullout test is happening. Now pullout test on the screed is majorly used to check the adhesion between screed and the mother concrete. Now you can see in this photo we have a steel weights kind of a figure which is called as dolly, and next is a jack which is used for pulling out. Now dollies are glued at least 24 hours earlier, and then manual jack will be used to pull these dollies with a dial gauge measuring the strength, pull-out strength. At the bottom right corner, you can see a failed or a successfully completed test specimen where the glue has failed, not the screed. That means the screed is acceptable. If a dolly comes along with the screed, you can see on your bottom left the central dolly where a screed has failed and substrata is intact enough, that means screed is not having any adhesion with the substrata. But that too, the reading of failure should be noted down, and if designer specified reading is crossed, that means the screed can be accepted. The photo shown here is for straight edge test for curling and lipping check. The photo itself is very much enough to understand the curling and lipping issues in the screed. On the right side, you can see a lippage where the entire screed got bent or curled at the edges, and any undulations can be checked with the straight edge. The straight edge generally comes in 3 meter, 5 meter and 7 meters length, and there will be a wedge given to check the dimension and the gap inconsistency or consistency check. The readings can be noted, can be identified how the test is carried out, and the report has to be prepared, witnessed by the client for acceptance of the screed. The photo shown here is most vital critical test method in a screed, which is done as per BSEN 8204. That is called as BRE testing equipment. The hammer inserted in the rod will be dropped from 750 mm above the screed level with a free height. The impact which is created by dropping of that hammer to be measured using the gauge, and based on the impact depth, the assessment of crushing resistance to be done. Now the depth or the impact deep has to be assigned by the designer and should be evaluated or checked by a QC engineer. The testing must be witnessed by either parties like contractor, PMCs and client, because this is a very vital and important testing part in the screed. The last testing method is abrasion resistance. As I explained you, abrasion resistance, the equipment has a plate underneath the machine which creates a rotational abrasion on the screed, and once the particular rotations are done for duration of 2850 plus or minus 10 rpm, which will be approximately 15 minutes on the screed, the depth, the impact or a depression has to be checked using the gauge, and the screed abrasion resistance to be evaluated. Now to tell you about this machine and operation, this machine consists of abrasion head of 3 hardened wheels, steel wheels, which are mounted above a steel plate, which rotates at around 225 plus or minus 1 mm. The abrasion head is linked to an electric motor, which means of gearing. Abrasion testing machine is suitable to use for specifically manufactured test bodies, that is almost 500 by 500 mm kind of plates or sheets, but can also be tested or used for screeds which have already been laid, or you want to check the present condition of the screed, vice versa, or etc. In order to carry out this test, this testing machine is placed and fixed on a test body or a test area which has been marked by client. After this, the abrasion head is allowed to rotate for a duration, as I mentioned, 2850 plus or minus 10 rpm for 15 minutes approximately. Then the wear resistance is determined from average wear depth, that is impact which is created by rotational, maybe around 10 micron or something. Then the value is noted by using a digital or analog measuring dial or dial gauge, we call it as. The results has to be matched with design intention report. Once these are done, the last test comes on the screed, which is non-destructive in the nature, that is moisture content or any kind of dust check. So dust check, you can use a broom and you can just wipe it so that to check any dust formation or a surface powder formation is there or not. The moisture content can be checked using these devices you can see on your screen. These are the devices available in the market, which will have 2-pin, single pin, analog. Based on that, the moisture on the surface of the screed will be decided or checked, which will be matched with the manufacturer requirement for the further level screeds or further level treatments. Now this screed testing is very important in terms of understanding the criticality of further layers or the final finish. So these 4 tests or 5 tests, whichever I mentioned, they are very critical in the nature and important in the need of the day for the screed to be accepted. So this is all from my side today. Please do mention your comments, your observations or your suggestions in comment box below, and also please subscribe and share with your friends if you like it. I will be coming with the next content very soon through this channel. Please do keep commenting and keep suggesting and keep recommending new topics for me to make. Till then, bye.